Sarna then adds an interesting note. Now catch this. In the course of the Second Temple period, let me repeat that. In the course of the Second Temple period roughly in round numbers is 500 BC to 70 AD or 100 AD. We'll make it even rounder, okay? In the course of the Second Temple period, the Tetragrammaton came to be regarded as charged with metaphysical potency and therefore ceased to be pronounced. It was replaced in speech by Adonai, Lord, rendered into Greek kurios. Often the vowels of Adonai would later accompany YHWH in written texts when vowels were added in the early medieval period. This gave rise to the mistaken form Jehovah. The original pronunciation was eventually lost, and modern attempts at recovery are conjectural. Anchor Bible Dictionary adds this. The form Jehovah results from reading the consonants of the Tetragrammaton, again, YHWH, with the vowels of the surrogate word Adonai. Now you say word Adonai begins with an A, Jehovah begins with an E. How does that work? It's a feature of Hebrew consonants. Okay, Adonai is a guttural. It begins with a guttural consonant, and the shva, the vocal shva under a guttural is going to be the A class. The Jehovah begins with a yod. That is not a guttural, and so the vocal shva under that will be eh. Again, end of linguistic spasm there. But they're the same thing. It's just there are linguistic reasons why one is ah or a and one is e. Okay, back to the selection. The form Jehovah results from reading the consonants of the Tetragrammaton with the vowels of the surrogate Adonai. The dissemination of this form is usually traced to Petrus Galatinus, confessor to Pope Leo X, who in 1518 AD transliterated the four Hebrew letters with the Latin letters, okay, JHVH, together with the vowels of Adonai, producing the artificial form Jehovah. This confused usage may, however, have begun as early as 1100 AD. I mean, there is a manuscript or two that you can show to make that argument. While the hybrid form Jehovah has met much resistance and is universally regarded as an ungrammatical aberration, it nonetheless passed from Latin into English and other European languages and has been hallowed by usage in hymns and the ASV. It is used only a few times in the KJV and not at all in the RSV. Now that's from Thompson's article on Yahweh in the Anchor Bible Dictionary. Why do I bring this up? First, Jehovah is an artificial form. It is an incorrect form. Whether you want to tell that to Jehovah's Witnesses or not, that's up to you. And frankly, it isn't going to matter to them. Jehovah's Witnesses, A, they don't know Hebrew, and B, if they're not Hebrew linguists, it's not going to faze them. So I wouldn't bother with that. It's more something that you should know. I used to, when I had seminary students, again, who had at least a year of Hebrew, I would mark off if I ever saw Jehovah in a paper. And I would say, you should know better. Okay, just stop it. Why did you take first year? I mean, I wasn't this cruel, okay? Why did you take first year Hebrew? I mean, like get with the program here. Know what's going on. So I bring it up for that reason. And also, again, to show you how recent this is. I mean, you have a really good textual basis for saying this is like around the time of Luther. This starts maybe earlier, but it's not anywhere close to being in the biblical period. At the earliest, this is 1100 AD. That would be over a millennium after Jesus. Okay, we're in 2 millennium when you go back into the Old Testament period. That's a long time. So I don't want to hear this talk about Jehovah, being the actual, name of God. It's not. It's not. It has a traceable history. Another publication, I have put this one in the folder as well, by Kristen DeTroyer. This article is called The Names of God, Their Pronunciation, and Their Translation. Subtitle, A Digital Tour of Some of the Main Witnesses. Again, you can actually find that on the internet, but I put it in the folder anyway. The last name is D-E with a space, and then Troyer, T-R-O-Y-E-R. Kristen DeTroyer, The Names of God. Put that into Google, you'll find it, or you can use the protected folder. You have to be a newsletter subscriber to get to the protected folder. Detroyer writes this on pages 3 to 5. I'm just plucking out a few paragraphs here and there on pages 3 and 5. What does one read in old codices, such as Codex Leningrad and Codex Aleppo? Now, I'll stop there. These are the two oldest complete or mostly complete manuscripts of the Hebrew Bible that we have. Leningradensis is the oldest complete Hebrew Bible. And we know, I'm trying to remember, I always get this, I always have to look it up, and I didn't look it up before. It's either 1007 or 1107 AD, because the scribe, the copyist, put the date on it. Aleppo is not complete. It's missing most of the Torah because of a fire, but that's in the 900s. Okay? What do those manuscripts, how do they point or vocalize the divine name? Good question. Most of the printed Hebrew Bibles, this is back to Detroyer, most of the printed Hebrew Bibles are based on Codex Leningrad or Leningradensis, a codex dated to, there we go, 1007, 1008. She has, I've seen the other one, just say 1008 since we're dealing with her article here. Located at the Library of St. Petersburg, again in Russia. This codex is the oldest complete Hebrew Bible. Most scholarly editions of the Bible are based on this codex. That's certainly true. There is a Hebrew Bible project in operation now that's using Aleppo as its starting point, but we'll wait for that to get completed. Back to Detroyer. The usual form of the name of God, however, in Codex Leningrad is, now this is interesting. Here's how it's pointed. It's YHWH, again, reading right to left here in Hebrew, or in English, YHWH. It has the E vowel and the final A vowel. In other words, there is no O vowel. Let me say that again. The usual form of the name of God in Codex Leningradensis does not have the O vowel. So again, if you have people, Jehovah, that'd be Leningradensis. No. And may I add, no. It has yeh and then va, yeh, va. There's no O vowel. There's the scribe just didn't, that wasn't the way you pronounced it. That wasn't the way you pointed it. The O vowel is missing. So Detroyer says, in other words, there's a holum, an O sound missing in the printed form of the Tetragrammaton. The first form, this again, yeh, va, e, a, and with the missing O, her approach, and it's not unique to her, but she says this form can be read as the Aramaic noun Shema, because that has the which is the word for the name, the divine name. So her view is that the reason why they took the four consonants in Leningradensis, and Leningradensis again is early 11th century, and that's going to be a copy of a copy of a copy. It has a long history, so back into the early Middle Ages, we'll say, when they wanted to add vowels to the divine name, they added an E sound, it's a vocal shava, and then the comets on the last syllable. Taking the vowels not from Adonai has an O vowel in there, but taking the vowels from Shema, the name. And if you take those vowels, put them into the four consonants, 2 vowels plus 4 consonants, you get Yeh, Va. Okay? It's just kind of interesting. It's a little bit of Masoretic trivia. I don't know. But it makes sense that they would do that. The name, okay, we'll take the vowels from the name and put them in the name. Makes sense. Yeah, but Jehovah does not have a traceable history back into the major manuscripts is the point.